Good morning. So I know this is a bit odd because I'm in the hallway, but the dishwasher's running, the washing machine's going, the dryer's also going, so it's all really noisy in the kitchen. But today I'm going to be deep cleaning my Bissel Crosswave wet dry vacuum. I'm going to be honest, it's disgusting. I know it's disgusting and I've been putting it off. I usually try to clean it out after every use. I've used it a little bit recently and not cleaned it, so that's shame on me. I've not looked after my equipment, but I'm going to show you today me just deep cleaning it. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get here. I haven't looked at it properly. I think I've just put my head in the sand and thought, yeah, I'll be fine. So I'm facing my fears today and facing up to my lack of responsibility, I think you can say. So I'm going to show you how I clean mine. Obviously the Bissel Crosswave, you put it on the stand, you can press a button, it cleans through, but that doesn't do everything. Like, I still want to take it apart as much as I can, clean it and everything else. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go face it. Let's just do it. I know it's going to smell. I know that. It's going to be hideous. Okay.
So I started off by obviously getting it out of the cupboard, which if you've not seen, we've had our under the stairs storage redone. So I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you're interested. And I wheeled it to the kitchen to see its fate. I added in just some normal dish soap and a little bit of bleach to the hot water, just to kind of give it a little bit, because it's been sat a little bit too long. I wanted to really make sure it was really deeply cleaned. And I always think, like, I don't use bleach on anything but the bathroom, like the toilet bowls, unless I'm trying to get a stain out of something. Sometimes I use a little bit of bleach just to try and get a stain out. Or I use it in this case where something is so dirty, it needs everything to kind of like kill it off all the germs and stuff. So I started by laying it all down. I tried to take everything apart. I was trying to find, like, I didn't have the manual or anything. I literally was just like, right, I'll see if I can pull this apart and that kind of thing. So look how disgusting that is. So even if it is a self-cleaning machine, you still need to clean it. My biggest problem when I'm doing any kind of cleaning is that I never clean the appliances. So, like, obviously I'll wash the cloths and stuff that I use and tea towels and all that kind of thing. But as soon as it comes to, like, a vacuum, I think most of our vacuums have died just because I've not kept up to them. And because of my hair is, apparently it's very fine, but I've got a lot of it, so it falls out a lot. Like, there's hair everywhere. I might as well be a shedding dog. It is that bad. So when it comes to vacuuming, obviously it wraps up in the brush part of it all. So that's been the biggest failure, really, for me, is kind of keeping on top of my hair in the vacuum. So I have been trying to get better, but obviously this one's going to have the same problem. There only is a little bit of hair. Thankfully, it's not got so bad. But I wonder if that's because it mainly is used in the kitchen and wood-like areas, whereas it doesn't get as attached as the carpet as much, if that makes sense. So I emptied that water out, the dirty water, and oh my gosh, it stank. It was disgusting. I felt so embarrassed. I was so glad nobody was there at the time, because honestly, it was enough to knock you out. So yeah, I had to put some extra bleach in just to kind of really clean that. I do go back later after I've cleaned all this and clean the sink all out again, because I really just didn't want to go near it. I didn't want anything to go near it either. Like, I didn't think I wanted to wash my bowls and pots and stuff in the sink after that monstrosity of a vacuum had been in there. So I'm just deep cleaning everything. Obviously, I've got the really hot water. I am using my Scrub Daddy because some of it was really, like, not crusted on. I think I was just really wanting to scrub everything off. I didn't want to just wash the water over the stuff just to leave it again. So I was trying to get into all the, like, little areas and, like, all the little seals and stuff around this just to make sure it was all fully cleaned. I did have to bin the Scrub Daddy afterwards though. I was like, I'm not comfortable using it on anything else now, and it was at the end of its life, so I just need to go get a new one. But so what I found hard was in the centre here, there's the hole for things to go through. Can you see, like, the little tube? That's not like a closed end or anything, which is great because at least you can clean through it properly. I just found it hard. I had to like stick my fingers in to get to it because no cloth or cleaning utensil was going through there. But that came up really well to say that was the dirty water tray. The next piece I've got in my hand is a little bit difficult because it's got like the metal part on it, you know, as if it's like obviously like electronic. So I was trying to be really careful how I cleaned that because I was like, it comes in contact with water kind of. So I didn't want to leave it in the water too long or anything, and I was really vigilant about drying that off as quick as possible. This is me reading to see how you clean it, and it said like you can put it in water and everything, but you know when you're just like, that doesn't seem right, because surely like something like that it would just break and it wouldn't work. I've since used the vacuum and it's been fine and it's charged fine and everything, so no problems. But you know when you're just like pretty sure that shouldn't be allowed or shouldn't be a thing. Can you see the hair wrapped around the brush here? Ugh. Disgusting. I apologise also if you think I sound really odd. We've got into October, and for some reason the weather's just decided to turn, and I don't know how it's happened. It's still a little on the sunny side in places, but it's not warm. And as soon as kids go back to school in the UK, that's when germ season starts. And because everyone's been off and mixed with other people, they've all gone to school, all the germs come about. And so we've all been struck with it in this house. We've all had some sort of like cough or cold. And I'm just going through the motions of it now. Oliver's at the end of it, and Cora is pretty much at the same point as me, where it's just like having to blow your nose every 2 minutes of the day, you're coughing, can't breathe through your nose, and it's just ugh. So yes, we've all been struck down. I think when you go to university, they call it freshers flu, because you've all come from different areas, and then you've all brought your local germs to the new places and stuff like that. It's always a fun time of year. So yeah, it's kind of turned on us. I decided to put the carrier bag down because I thought I don't want to have to like fully clean the whole floor. I wanted to kind of contain it to the plastic bag so I could just like wrap up any mess that was made and put it in the bin and then just wipe down the floor afterwards, because I couldn't clean everything up nice and tidily with my Bissel Crosswave because it's not in use right now. So I decided to put the bag down just to try and contain the mess. You can see me struggling with hair wrapped around one of the little like bits at the bottom. I realise my head's in the way a lot of the time, so I apologise. But it was really great that so much came apart. I think I could have got more like cleaned if I'd had better utensils, basically, because there's a little bit that goes, it's like a what do I call it? Like a tube that runs from the bottom part where the brush sits up into the main part of the like water vacuum area. But I think what I will do next time I do this is, once I've done it, put some of the cleaning solution in the clean water bit and run that through a few times just to kind of give it a good clean through the parts that you can't detach fully. I think that would be a better option next time. So that's something I've learned. I managed to get my sponge in the opening quite deeply, so I managed to get quite a bit that cleaned out. I think it's things like this, like with water, you think water's clean, you don't realise how much damage it can actually do to your appliances and stuff like this just when it's just sat. So I was trying to really get rid of everything that was maybe attached to the vacuum, really deep clean it, because I've loved this vacuum. It has been fantastic. It sucks up so much stuff, like whole pieces of cereal, chunks of bread I've got up there before. It's amazing the amount of stuff it collects, and it's got a really good suction. If you want to see my initial review, I have done a video of it when we first bought it. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I'll also leave a link to it if you're looking to purchase it, all that kind of thing. Just check it out. There's so much. It's a really good, I would just say it's a really good vacuum. It's really easy to take apart, and it's really light, and it's not very clunky. My mum has one, and I can't remember what, I think it's the Vax one, and she enjoys hers, but it is like twice the size of mine. And when it comes to trying to store things neatly and tidily, and even lightweight, like I would struggle sometimes with a heavy one, just because they're just too clunky, and it's hard work getting them around. The charging point I had to do kind of like out of the sink, just because it was attached to the plug. There was no way to detach the cable, so I was trying to make sure it kept as dry as possible, because I didn't want to break anything there. And then the brush took some work. What is it with like brushes? Have you ever done like after you've done painting, you'd wash the brush out? It was so much hard work. And then I just left all this to dry for, I think it was like 24, 48 hours. It was mainly the brush that I wanted to leave to be able to be fully dry before I used it. So I left that to dry. Thankfully the smell had gone, so it was fine. And then I just put it all back together again, and yeah, it working perfectly. It's nice because it feels like it's had a bit of a refresh of life. I think you don't realise how much your like cleaning equipment, in that sense, like your vacuums and things, need that extra bit of TLC just to kind of keep going. So I cleaned out the filter as well. As like a little filter thing that I cleaned out as well while I was there, because that's always good to keep up to those. I forgot there was an part missing, so I was like, why is this not fitting? I had like a full-on brain block. I was like, that's the piece. So yeah, got it all put together. It works perfectly, and I'm super happy I took the time to clean it. And I think this is going to be something I'm going to need to do a deep clean, especially on like a monthly basis, just to make sure everything keeps working, and I make sure it's like lasts a long time. I hope you've enjoyed this little video with me today. I know it's not been very big, it's not been long, but I just thought it was interesting to see how I cleaned my vacuum, and give you a little bit of maybe a push if you need it to do the same for your vacuums. I'm definitely very lazy about it, so it's definitely good to have that extra little push.